St. Louis, Missouri, the finale of a 4-game series. It's not been a lot of fun for the Pirates or their fans so far here at Busch Stadium as the Buccos drop the first 3 games. This 7-game road trip will continue into Cincinnati over the weekend. Greg Brown along with Bob Walken. Bob, you know, those first 2 games very close. The walk-off home runs. Last night not as close. But it's not as though the Pirates haven't had chances to drive in some runs, and Clint Hurdle has pointed to that when you get those opportunities, you have to take advantage.
Absolutely. When there's men on base, you got to get the hits. You got to knock those guys in. And you know, you looked at last year's teams, and the Cardinals were amazing at knocking in runners. They had like 330 runners in scoring position. Big problem last year with the Pirates. They hit about 220. Well, the Pirates have made great strides in that area this year, but they've started to fall back toward last season in this series against the Cardinals. Got to do a better job of that tonight.
You really have to almost feel fortunate, I would think, Bob, if you're the Pirates. You know, this is actually kind of a good time to lose 3 straight games because the other teams in the division fallen back. Aside from the Cardinals, the Reds lost today, and the Milwaukee Brewers have struggled.
Yeah, you're right about that. And because we've lost 3 in a row, really hasn't made that big of a difference in the standings. The Brewers are losing also. Now, if all of this was going on, let's say the first week of September, then I would be a little concerned. But right now, this is just baseball.
And you take a look at also, by the way, that right-hand side, the Pirates really need to start beating their division opponents. They're fighting in this race, so they got to get a win today and try and take a series if they can in Cincinnati. Speaking of the Reds, let's go back to Pittsburgh. Rob King has more. the finale of this 4-game series between the Pirates and the Cardinals. Bucks, they're down, but they're not out. Keeping their hopes alive. Before the Pirates wave goodbye to the Cardinals, we will talk about the Pirates' bullpen last night. You see what Ernesto Frieri, Jeanmar Gomez, Justin Wilson, and Stolmy Pimentel did. But I would think, Bob, the Pirates are looking for some innings out of Edinson Volquez tonight.
Definitely. It hasn't been a good situation in the last 2 games like we've had for that long stretch where the starters were going so deep and giving the bullpen a lot of innings off. Need to get back to that. Hopefully Volquez will be able to do just that.
He's been awfully good. If you take a look, especially his last 5 starts, take away the June 18th game. You can't do it. You wish you could. Take those 8 earned runs off his mark. But really giving the Pirates those innings.
Absolutely. That's what you need right now. The 6 innings would be okay, but if he throws up one of those 7 or 8, that would be great. Hopefully he can go out there, have that good control, keep the pitch count down, and stay out of the middle of the plate at the same time.
So you'd like to see Volquez be strong and efficient, get the Pirates deep into the ball game. Meanwhile, the Pirates have done good work over the last couple of years against Shelby Miller. We'll talk about how the Pirates have fared against the Cardinals starter coming up next. The new Cardinal starting catcher, at least for the short term. Whether they make a move or not, we will find out, I'm sure, over the next few days. But they are going to be without their all-star and the Cardinal MVP, and that is Yadier Molina. Our Allegheny Health Network injury update. This was last night. See his right thumb hitting the dirt, and he is going to be out 8 to 12 weeks. Torn ligaments in that right thumb. It is a huge loss for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, it certainly didn't look like much when it happened, but he's gone now, and they're going to have to deal with it. A lot of people kind of were promoting him when the season started. Maybe he's going to be a National League MVP. He is that good and means that much to this team. And earlier today, they had to get together, and you can see Holiday trying to rally the troops and keep everybody positive because they know that one of their main cogs is now missing, and they're going to have to do something to pick up that slack.
Shelby Miller, tonight's Cardinals starter, 7-7 on the year. Last time out, a no decision against the Marlins. 9 starts since May the 23rd, a 5.50 ERA, and the Pirates have done pretty good work against Shelby Miller over the last couple of years.
Yeah, they certainly have. When Miller goes out there, I know he has good stuff, but it seems like we figure out a way to get to him. he's been very wild this year. A lot of walks, and hopefully when he gets somebody on base, we can do some things like this. Get the ball out there, hit it over the fence, and put up some nice big crooked numbers. Have one of those innings where maybe you bust the game open with a big home run. And certainly, Pedro, he's got that kind of power, so he's one of the guys that I think we're looking for tonight to come up with a big hit, hopefully after some wildness by Miller.
3 career home runs for Alvarez off of Shelby Miller. Ike Davis and the Buccos trying to get back on track here in St. Louis. Bucks Cards next. Mate of Shelby Miller. Cruz expected to start most of the time now unless they go out and get a frontline catcher in Yadier Molina's absence. And the Pirates starting lineup looks like this, and it is brought to you by Toyota. Gregory Polanco, Josh Harrison, Andrew McCutchen, 1-2-3. Neil Walker's 5 for 11 this series. Hits cleanup. Russell Martin returns to the starting lineup. Then it's Ike Davis, Pedro Alvarez, Jordy Mercer, and Edinson Volquez.
Take a look at Miller's numbers, and you look at that walk column, 50 walks in a little over 100 innings. So he's walking, a hitter every other inning, and it's even worse against the Pirates. And that's really, I think, going to be his Achilles heel tonight. I got my fingers crossed. We'll be patient. Don't help him out. Don't swing at pitches that are out of the strike zone. Make him throw you strikes. And then when he does have some problems, he gets a couple of guys on base. Hopefully somebody like Pedro comes up with a big hit.
Defense behind Shelby Miller. John Jay is in center field with Matt Holliday in left and Oscar Taveras, the rookie, in right. Johnny Peralta, Colton Wong up the middle, Matt Adams, Matt Carpenter on the corners, and it will be strange for Cardinal fans to not see their all-star Gold Glover behind the plate for at least the next couple of months. He could be done for the season. Colton Wong has had an outstanding series. Another home run last night, the game winner, game 2 on Tuesday night.
The thing about Molina, he's such a great two-way player. You could probably find a pretty good defensive catcher. That wouldn't be, out of the question. But find somebody that will provide the same kind of offense that he can. That's a little tough.
First pitch And a strike, we're underway.
If they want to replace his offense, they might have to look toward another position to do that if they go outside the organization before the trading deadline.
Polanco 0 for 4 last night. 3 out of 10 in the series. And a wild second pitch from Miller, that fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Shelby Miller, a first-round pick 5 years ago out of a high school in Texas, Brownwood.
That's what color most wood is.
Sometimes it's that yellow wood.
Oh, that's true. Could be yellow wood.
2-1 on Polanco.
I guess those would be the 2 dominant colors.
Yeah. Miller, just 23 years old, from Houston, Texas. 19th choice overall in that draft in 2009. And even though the Pirates' numbers against him aren't, outrageous, a 4.70 career ERA against them, he has had to throw a lot of pitches and has not pitched necessarily deep into the ball games. In fact, just twice has he gone 6 innings against Pittsburgh. 3 starts this season, 5 1/3, 5 2/3, 5 1/3. So the Cardinal bullpen has come into play, and that just misses. 3-2. Well, Yadier Molina, he's going to undergo surgery tomorrow on that torn ligament.
He'll be like another advisor coach in that dugout.
High fly ball, just missed that one.
Tough sun looking west.
Tavares trying, and he will make the catch. They're going to have to battle that. Well, 1 away. Bring up Josh Harrison, a Pirate All-Star. And before the game, they handed out the All-Star jerseys to the Cardinal All-Stars, including the manager of the National League, Mike Matheny, Pat Neshek, Adam Wainwright, Matt Carpenter, and then Yadier Molina, even though he won't be playing. And that will be interesting, too. The National League, Mike Matheny, is going to have to name another catcher. And you would think that Russell Martin will get some consideration. Josh Harrison pops up the first pitch to the shortstop. Peralta makes the play. Fly out to right, a pop up to short. Brings up Andrew McCutchen in our Rivers Casino tips to win.
I've talked a lot about the base on balls, and we've, I think, covered also that the hitting with runners in scoring position has to be much better than it's been in this series. And I'm picking Martin personally. I think he's going to be the guy that comes through big. He's going to be the offensive hero. I get a feeling that the Gypsies are going with Pedro.
Interesting decision on your part. The Gypsies know that Alvarez has hit 3 career homers. You know that Martin's career batting average against Miller is .364. And he's hit a couple of home runs. So you're obviously doing your homework. This ball bounces into left field, and Andrew McCutchen has a 2-out single.
I think I look more toward the slugging percentage, the OPS numbers. They were just purely, he's got 3 home runs. I go a little deeper into the stats.
Yes, you do. I know.
Breaking ball down off the end of the bat. You can hear the Brownwood broke.
Came in 5th in the league in hitting, .316. It's his second hit in 13 at bats in this series, and now Neil Walker homered for the 12th time this season. Last night, he has an 11-game hitting streak. We have to wonder, too, are teams going to test Tony Cruz? He's thrown out 2 runners in 6 tries this season. He's been pretty good defensively, but nobody is Molina. He completely shut down the running game.
I think it really puts a little more pressure on the pitching staff for the Cardinals. They're going to have to be more concerned with being quicker to the plate.
McCutchen 13 out of 13.
Matheny will probably be calling a few more hold and step off, pick off throws.
Opponents have stolen 8 bases with Miller on the mound this season. 5 have been caught. Falls behind Walker, trying to be patient. 2-0. Pirates have lost 10 of the last 12 games played here at Busch Stadium, including 5 of 6 this season. (2-0) on Walker. There goes McCutchen. Walker taking all the way. Throw down, not close. Stolen base for McCutchen.
Picked a nice pitch to run on. 76-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Had a good jump. There's no chance. Got in easy.
14 for 14. And now opponents attempting 7 steals. Been successful 5 times. This is with Cruz. And it's a 4-pitch walk. And here comes Bob's man. His pick to click. Russell Martin.
Could get it done right here in the first inning.
For the most part, got the night off last night. He did pinch hit in the 9th inning and hit a drive to deep center field that Peter Borges made a spectacular catch as the Pirates tried to rally in the 9th off Trevor Rosenthal.
Borges can't hit much, but he sure can play some center field.
In terms of filling Molina's spot on the All-Star roster, you'd have to figure that Russell Martin, maybe Buster Posey, and perhaps Miguel Montero would be the leading candidates. Be out of play, and it's 0-2. This season, Martin has had a tough go of it against Cardinal pitchers. He's just 3 out of 19. It's a 158 average.
Still.
Yep. 268 career hitter against them. Pirates have had good numbers this year with 2 strikes. 2 strike counts. There goes McCutchen for third, and there will be no play there. McCutchen back-to-back steals. And now 15 out of 15.
Walker got caught napping a little bit. And that's why you want to steal third base in that case, is to drag somebody with you to get 2 runners in scoring position.
Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. These are the situations we talked about this series. Pirates have done a pretty good job with runners in scoring position on the year, but struggling in this series. And there is a base hit. 1-0 Pirates. Russell Martin, a 2-out base hit on a 2-2 pitch.
I told you.
You nailed it. The contest is over.
No, that's not.
Yeah, it is. That's ball game. You win.
No, not yet.
Oh.
Not yet. It's just a down payment on star of the game. It's just a single and an RBI. It's a down payment.
Gypsies are nervous.
Yes, they are.
Mike Davis was 1 for 2 and walked twice last night. Checks appeal. Third base umpires Marty Foster said no swing. Davis 2 for 6 in the series. And ball 2. So the early indicator here that Miller having a bit of trouble with that command. Tony Cruz is out. It's a nice opportunity for Tony Cruz, but this has to be, I would think, kind of a daunting task to try and fill those shoes.
He's probably been told already several times today, don't try to be out of your Molina. Just do what you can do, and that'll be fine. Be yourself. But if he tries to do too much with it, we've seen what happens when players do that. Then they do a lot less than they're capable of.
Into center field. And the catch made by John Jay. The Pirates get one. Russell Martin, clubhouse leader. The lineup he is opposing, Matt Carpenter, will be shortly stepping in. He'll be followed by Oscar Taveras. The lineup for Mike Matheny is brought to you by Honda. Matt Holliday hits third. Matt Adams, cleanup man, and what a series. 6 for 12. He's driven in 4. Johnny Peralta next. John Jay in center. Tony Cruz, Colton Wong, and Shelby Miller.
Well, we're going to go to the same stat line that we went to with Miller, and that's the base on balls. Now, Volquez throughout his career has always had numbers like Miller has, where he's got too many walks. Well, this year, you look at the innings, just over 100 like Miller, but only 35 walks. He's been able to cut that way down, and that is the reason that Volquez is throwing some of his best baseball of his career, even though he's not that really hard thrower like he used to be.
The defense behind him. Andrew McCutcheon in center. Josh Harrison in left. Gregory Polanco in right. Left side of the infield, Pedro Alvarez, Jordy Mercer. On the right side, it's Neil Walker, Knight Davis, and Russell Martin catches Volquez. Josh Harrison out there again as Starling Marte back in the Dominican on the bereavement list. Glenn Hurdle said that Euclides Rojas would be in touch with him today and try and get an idea of how long he'll be gone. He can leave for up to a week. Strike is called on Matt Carpenter. He's 4 for 10 in the series. And always a tough out. A couple of hits last night. One of the Cardinal All-Stars. Up and in action.
Not really all that far in. I think Carpenter kind of leaned into that one.
probably won't draw the same response that created the bench clearing brawl today in Cincinnati, the Cubs and Reds. Aroldis Chapman went up and in a couple of times, back to the backstop with Nate Shearholtz at the plate. He knows what that's all about. Remember a few years ago when Chapman hit him around the neck on the shoulder late in the ball game. And Carpenter again, a base hit.
Tough to keep off the bases, but that ball looked like it just was absolutely right in the middle of the plate. That's where Volquez has been able to cut down his walks, but at the same time stay out of the middle of the plate. He's been able to have that command of where he could follow Russell Martin's glove from one side to the other.
Oscar Taveras pops this up toward the seats. Alvarez gives chase.
For a newer ballpark, there is quite a bit of foul territory here at Busch Stadium. A lot of the newer parks have taken out most of the foul territory. They've gotten the seats as close as they can get, but still a pretty good area there for the infielders to make a play, a catcher to make a play.
One and one.
It's one of the things that you don't really think too much about when you're thinking hitters' ballparks, pitchers' ballparks. You always look at that outfield fence. How does the ball carry? But foul territory makes a little difference also. Some of the balls that'll be 3-4 rows back in other ballparks are caught here for outs. Over the course of the season, that'll have a little effect on the team's ERA.
Taveras, a couple of hits last night. I'm trying to think, Bob, of the newer ballparks, this is probably the most spacious in terms of foul territory.
Yeah, I would say. A lot of room behind home plate in front of the dugouts.
Two and two on Oscar Taveras. Volquez has faced the Cardinals 3 times previously this season. This is his 14th career start. He gave up 6 runs in 5 2/3 here at Busch Stadium back on April the 27th. And a 7-0 loss to Adam Wainwright. Still 2 and 2. Another start. He went 4 2/3. It was on May the 10th at PNC Park. Gave up 3 runs and a 4-3 Pirate victory. He was not there for the decision as he didn't go the required 5, and he went 5 2/3 back on April the 6th game of the season at PNC Park. No decision.
Earlier in the year, he was kind of like all the other starters. That 5-inning mark was a big barrier for him.
And he got him with a changeup. Strikes out Taveras. 1 out at the bottom of the first.
Seems like young hitters are the most susceptible to looking bad on changeups. The more inexperienced they are, the better chance you're going to have them out there on the front foot trying to hit that fastball.
Is that because they don't see that many in the minors?
I would guess. I don't really know the reason for it, but I can remember noticing that years and years ago with Gene Garber when I was with the Braves. He was the closer, and he was not a hard thrower, threw from sidearm, but his main pitch was a changeup. And young guys would get up there and he'd just eat them up with changeups. Where the old guys that have been around for a while, seen Garber pitch a lot, no, they weren't buying it. They were sitting back waiting for that changeup.
Ball's popped up. McCutchen. 2 outs.
Might be just a simple thing of after you've been around a while, you know the pitcher's better. Might be that might have some of it too. You know who's going to be throwing your changeups and who's not.
Barrel Automotive League leaders stat, National League leaders in slugging percentage. Troy Tulowitzki, Paul Goldschmidt, Giancarlo Stanton, and then the 4 or 5 guys playing tonight, Andrew McCutchen and Matt Adams.
You been hearing anything about Tulowitzki being on the trading block?
I have not. Have you?
Yeah, I heard a rumor last night about that. That would be a blockbuster, wouldn't it?
Strike on Matt Adams. Well, that would be
probably
a
have to give Denver Fort Knox to get him loose, but apparently you never know. Who threw that name out there? Could have been anybody. Could have been just somebody trying to start a rumor.
And that happens a lot. They just throw names out.
Right.
And a fly ball to Josh Harrison in left center. Good work after Matt Carpenter singled. Strike out and a couple of pop-ups. 1-0 after 1.
Sports is brought to you by Toyota. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by PNC Bank. Know where you stand with PNC Total Insight. Let's go Bucks!
1-0 on to the second here in the finale of the 4-game series. Jeff Decker back in the big leagues. Brandon Compton was optioned back to AAA Indy, and Decker, who has been hitting the ball well the last couple of weeks at AAA Indy. Vance Worley found out that he will be in the bullpen and not make the start over the weekend. Instead, that will be Francisco Liriano starting on a Sunday, and Charlie Morton will keep his regular turn and pitch on Saturday. And then after the All-Star break, as is usually the case with most of the clubs, they rearrange that rotation. Strike on Alvarez, bottom third of the Pirates order. Alvarez hit 5th last night. He was 0 for 3 with a walk. He's in the hole 0-2.
Start him off with a couple of hooks. That last one, I think Pedro would love to get back. It was right there. They showed him a fastball down out of the strike zone. What do you think, Greg? Another hook? They'll try to backdoor it.
Probably
catch
so.
the outside corner. See if Cruz pops outside.
Lance Lynn
No.
got the win last night. And the other way for Alvarez, and that is a fair ball. Hugging the line, Alvarez will hustle into second base, and he had to turn it on a bit. And he's got himself a leadoff double.
Miller decided to not go back to the breaking ball. Tried to throw the fastball by him. Couldn't sneak it in there. Well, that's why he had to turn it on, wasn't it?
Tenth double of the season for Alvarez. Here's Jordy Mercer. Mercer drove in a run last night. He now has 28 RBIs. Russell Martin picked up his 27th ribby in the first inning. Mike Davis has driven in 28. Andrew McCutchen fifth in the league with 56 RBIs, and Neil Walker has driven in 39. And Alvarez, who's at second base, has 44 ribbies. And to shallow center, but Jay plays a pretty shallow center field, and those balls that normally when they leave the bat you think, oh, they got a good chance of falling in. He's actually kind of coasting there.
I've been talking about that for a couple of days. He plays as shallow center field as you'll see. It really comes in and takes away a lot of these singles. At the same time, though, he has a knack of getting back to the wall and making the plays. He made a great catch back at the wall in that running catch. I don't remember now who hit that, but I think it's a pretty good defense. This was Walker hit that ball that he got right out there in the warning track just before he hit the wall.
Ball one on Volquez. He's 1 for 12.
Tavares played at center field last night. He plays a lot deeper than Jay does.
This is kind of an interesting ballpark because you can gauge where the center fielders play based on that arch that's etched into the grass. You look at Jay, of course. It's a little different now with Volquez at the plate, a pitcher, but there's the real arch, and then they've got one etched into the grass here. One ball, one strike. And it's 2-1. Miller did pitch very briefly in the postseason, an inning in Game 2 of the National League Division Series against the Bucks. It's a pretty solid rookie season for him last year. And it's bunted the first base side. And sacrifice. 1-3, and now 2 outs. Want to see how you root for the Bucks? AT&T fan photo of the day. Show us how you're rooting for your Buccos against these St. Louis Cardinals. Submit your picture via Twitter. Use the hashtag BucksFanPhoto, and we'll show them during our broadcast. The AT&T fan photo. Bucco fans on hand here in Missouri. Bob, do you like the bunt there?
Well, with Polanco up,
an infield hit could get you a run. Yeah.
I mean, normally, you never see anybody being sacrificed to third when there's already an out on the board, because it doesn't really buy you a whole lot. But with Polanco, he's got a chance to get an infield hit, so makes some sense in that way. What you're thinking is what's there a better chance of, Polanco getting an infield hit or Volquez just getting a hit?
Popped up and on the infield, the third baseman Carpenter will make the catch. Alvarez leadoff double. He is stranded, but the Pirates lead 1-0. To nothing over the St. Louis Cardinals. It'll be Johnny Peralta leading off the bottom of the second. Final vote winners, Anthony Rizzo and Chris Sale, both from Chicago. The Cubs, Rizzo, the first baseman, and the pitcher Chris Sale will be added to the All-Star rosters in the National and American Leagues respectively. And there will be some more tweaking between now and Tuesday night, including, as we said earlier, somebody's going to have to take Yadier Molina's place. There'll be some pitchers by Tuesday that will be added on, no doubt. Some won't be able to go. This pitcher's out of play off to the right.
Always late additions.
Mike Matheny will be National League skipper, and Clint Hurdle will be on his staff as one of the coaches. A couple of strikes on Peralta. He has 3 hits in the series. Whoops.
That one won't get caught very often.
Trying to hold back a chuckle. There's the pitching coach there, Ray Searage.
It's a waste pitch. You just want to show it to him.
Two and two.
You know, when you think about it, a ball that bounces in the dirt is probably the same distance under somebody's feet as that ball was over somebody's head. Waste pitch.
So one very high, one very low. What do we see here?
All right. Okay, you're going to cut it in the middle part? No, it went low again.
Volquez went 9-12 all of last season in 33 starts combined with the Padres and Dodgers. He's trying to win his 8th game the first half this season in his first year with the Pirates.
Trying to hit the outside corner with a fastball.
And missed. Peralta aboard. It brings up John Jay. So the All-Star rosters we talked about. Chris Sale and Anthony Rizzo being added in the Home Run Derby rosters. Also finalized. We're just talking about Troy Tulowitzki. He'll join Justin Morneau, Giancarlo Stanton, Yasiel Puig, and Todd Frazier on the National League Home Run Derby roster. Pedro Alvarez, the Pirates representative in the Home Run Derby contest last year. Strike on John Jay. Andrew McCutchen was a Home Run Derby participant a couple years ago.
You know who I think would be good at it on our club? Just watch him take batting practice. Be Liriano.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
I mean, he launches them into the river. You know, that's basically what the home run hitting contest is just how many can you launch in a row. He can do it as good as any regular player. I wonder if anybody ever done that. Yeah. Oh, it'd be great. I mean, he might win it.
Yeah.
I know he'd hit some long ones. That'd be awesome. There's no rule against it, is there?
I don't think so.
He's probably not the only pitcher that, you know, if you come out and watch pitchers batting practice, you know, around the league, there's maybe a half dozen guys that can hit them out of the ballpark as deep and as long as any of the regular players can. When you're just talking, you know, batting practice, somebody lobbing them in there.
There's Liriano there next to Gabby Sanchez and Michael Martinez. How about, Bob, we've talked about this, you and I, over the last few years, that baseball could add so much to, it's already a full week, but they could add so much more in terms of skills competition. We talked about this. You know, the best double play combinations, catchers throwing, fastest runners. I mean, that would really be neat to kind of spruce up the All-Star game. And you've just come up with a great one, a pitcher's home run derby contest. I think that would be a blast.
Yeah, it would be different.
And the pitchers, you know, would love it, right?
They would, absolutely. You know, I'm thinking of some guys that I played with that could easily be involved in something like that and have a chance. Don Robinson. I mean, he hit balls in the upper deck at Three River Stadium, you know, all the time. It wasn't that big of a deal to him. And, you know, he loved hitting home runs during batting practice.
The American League participants in the Home Run Derby, Jose Bautista will captain that team. Brian Dozier, Adam Jones, Yoenis Cespedes, and Josh Donaldson. So a couple of Oakland A's joining Jones and Dozier for the Bautista team.
Hey, Greg, you know how the American League, National League is kind of just mixed together now, interleague play all the time. But how about the game instead of the National League, American League All-Star game? How about if you have the fans, as they do now, vote and pick one team, and one team is picked by the players.
Ooh.
And they play each other, and something on the line too, like you know, if the fan team wins, then you know, first game back in every stadium, everybody gets a free hot dog, something like that.
That would be tremendous, because this speaks to this age-old question: are the fans putting out the best team because they vote? And that would prove it. Every year the fans got to vote for their team.
No, and the fans get first choice.
Yeah.
Okay, and then so basically, I think what you would have to do, what the players would have to do, is they would have it when they do their vote. They have to have their first choice and second choice at each position. Now, I don't know how you would fill out the rest of the teams. I mean, that's just kind of a and then have the fans team play the players team.
Swing and a miss, runner goes, and a little bit of a delay there by the base runner Peralta. He's thrown out rather easily in a strike him out, throw him out double play.
Easy pickings for Russell Martin. He's so accurate with that strong arm of his. Peralta trying to get sneaky, trying to sneak that toe into the backside of the bag. Mercer was having none of that.
Another runner thrown out by Russell Martin, who's having, without question, a Gold Glove caliber season.
Oh, I thought you were going
behind
to
the
say
plate.
A great game tonight.
That goes without saying.
Well, I thought that's where you were going with that.
So again, as we said earlier, he might and certainly will be considered. It's a matter of who they select. Is it Martin or Buster Posey or Miguel Montero to take Yadier Molina's place? And you certainly don't want to see a guy like Molina hurt, especially for this long. But they were probably neck and neck as it was in terms of Gold Glove. And you never know until the end of the season. But you look at the defensive statistics, the numbers, fielding percentage, throwing out runners. Martin is right up there at the top. 1-2 on Tony Cruz.
And he had a little bit of a slow start this season. For whatever reason, early on, he was unsuccessful. First 5 or 6.
The Cardinal catcher Tony Cruz fouls off another pitch. Last time they were without Molina for any long stretch was the first half of the 2007 season. He fractured his wrist and he was out a good month. Strike 3 call. Third K for Volquez. 1-0 Buccos.
Off here for the Pirates in the third inning. I'm Robbie. It's Bukowski. Josh Harrison headed to Minneapolis on Sunday night after the game against the Reds for the All-Star game. But the question is, where will he play? Wherever he plays, he'll be prepared because he's got 4 gloves. Now, a couple of them, the 2 gloves that were on the right are 2 infield gloves that he uses. He splits home and away. And the 2 on the left right there, those are the outfield gloves that he uses. So again, they're the first 2 outfield gloves, and the smaller ones are the infield gloves. And I asked him, I said, well, what are you going to bring? He goes, well, I'm going to bring all of them. I said, well, do you have any idea where you're going to play? He said, no. I said, well, where do you prefer to play? I don't care. I'll play anywhere. Shouldn't be surprised that he would tell a story like that. So we're curious to see as to when and where we'll see Josh Harrison. But Mike Matheny has it easier than Clint Hurdle with the amount of substitutions that goes on during the game. So we're going to maybe put up a pool, guys, and see where he plays first.
Well, that'd be interesting, too. Robbie, to see where he ends up when he plays. One thing for sure, it was nice to see Josh Harrison. Not that there's extra pressure on him to perform in this series, but here Clint Hurdle goes and convinces Matheny that he should take Harrison, and Harrison's played a real solid series against the Cardinals. Again, not that Matheny needed any more convincing, but I'm sure it was in his mind. Nice to see Harrison play so well. Made that great catch in right field the opening game of the series. And now he's out there in left for a couple games with Marte out. Popped up. Wong and shallow right. Harrison has popped out twice. Can you beat the best? Join millions of players now on the only official home run derby mobile game from MLB.com. Square off against your friends from around the world live in multiplayer derby mode and climb to the top of the leaderboards. Download today for free on the Apple App Store and Google Play. McCutchen singled, stole a base, 2 bases actually, and scored, and hits a high fly ball to deep right field, and just at the base of the wall, Taveras makes the catch. Looked as though he was turned around the wrong way initially,
and he's having to deal with that sun. This game get started a little earlier than normal. The way he went after it made me think it was hit into the bullpen. Always tried to read the body language of the outfielder to get kind of an idea of what he thinks he sees. And watching him go to the wall, I thought it was going to be a home run, or at least a lot closer than it ended up being. Well, Jay Hay is well deserving, Rick. I mean, what he has done for the Pirates over the last couple of months. I've said this a few times that I don't think it's just a coincidence that this team started getting on a roll, getting back to the 500 mark, above 500, getting back into this race when Harrison started playing almost every day, which in my mind makes him kind of like a Pirate MVP. Yep. So I'm very happy to see somebody that comes to the ballpark with a great attitude, will do anything, never complains, having this success.
Number 4 Ralph Kiner patch on the number 5 jersey of Josh Harrison.
There's players all around baseball that you would wish would have his attitude and do the things that he does on a daily basis when he shows up, no matter if they're extra players, stars, whatever.
That man certainly appreciates having Josh Harrison on this club, that attitude.
Think about how valuable he is just because he'll go anywhere. And the different scenarios where guys have been hurt, and instantly you can plug somebody in that is not going to miss a beat for you. A lot of utility guys, wherever you put them, there's going to be a fall off in defense.
But that doesn't seem to
be not with Josh Harrison. He's going to give you a good defensive effort no matter where he goes.
Pirates Baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Chevy Equinox and your Western PA Chevy dealers. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go, Bucks!
Yeah. All right, Tyler Graham is here. One of the Gypsies.
Tyler?
Yeah.
They came all the way in.
We're in the Walker.
That's great to see
Big Walker
Tyler.
fan, yeah. Is it a little WWE-like?
Yeah.
What does Tyler say is the greatest moment in American history? Remember?
Somebody got body slammed on the aircraft carrier. Yokozuna?
Oh, that's right, yeah. Who was it that beat him?
Help me out, Gypsies. Guy with the German name.
Lex Luger. Yes,
Luger.
yes. The greatest moment in U.S. history.
Now, I scoffed at that until I saw it.
So did I. And then we looked at it. You're right.
Yeah, well, I'd have to put at least in the top 5. It was one of our 4th of July discussion the other day.
1-1 on Colton Wong. 2 home runs in this series, including the game winner the other night.
Some of the pregame prep work we do.
Yeah, very important stuff. There's a bunt, and a good one, and a base hit.
It's the second bunt that's been dropped down by the Cardinals. Absolutely perfect. Carpenter did this in last night's game where it's just right on the edge of the grass. Just enough so that it'll hang on, that it's not going to fall off and go toward that foul line. Watching Wong go down the line, Greg, and did it seem like he wasn't running very fast to you?
I did not catch that part. Do you think he might be hurt?
No, I think that he's not as fast as I thought he was.
Oh, I see. He does lead their team in stolen bases. Not that that is a measure of whether he's the fastest club on the fastest player on the team or not. He has 10 steals and 11 tries. Shelby Miller going to try and bunt him over. Wong started the year with the Cardinals and then was demoted at the end of April down to the minor leagues. Got hot down there, came up, was on the DL for a while and activated over the weekend and has been swinging that hot bat since his return.
Yeah, it's not uncommon really to see somebody go down and they don't want to do it, I'm sure, but get the swing back, come back up and get on a little bit of a roll. I've seen a lot of players that happen to over the years. You hate to hear those words that, you got to go back down. I mean, you really hate to hear those words.
It happened this year also with Oscar Taveras. Last month, their top prospect was optioned back for a time.
The first time that happened to me, Bobby Cox called me in the office. It was after the strike, that big long strike we had.
8-1?
Yeah, so I can remember we were in LA. I was just crushed. And once you get to the big leagues, you don't think you're ever going back.
And after a while, you recover, pick yourself up.
Yeah. Went back then. Well, it was, looking back on it, it was silly for me to feel so bad about it because had that long layoff, and they wanted me to go down and get some innings in. And I had options. We know how that works.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as a young player, you're just not thinking like that. You're not thinking what is right.
Now the runner takes off, and Wong gets a stolen base.
A lot faster than he looks.
His 11th.
There are times when the sacrifice bunt is on where you're really not, paying that much attention like you should or normally would over at first base. And a player with some speed can get a very good jump. And you can see that he's got good speed. I don't know why he looks so slow going to first.
Could be deceiving.
He didn't look like Lou Brock. Looked like he was running at the beach when he was going to first.
Now Miller will punt. Wong to third. A week from tomorrow, Free Shirt Friday. Pirates and Rockies at 7:05. First 25,000 fans get a Garrett Cole t-shirt. Thanks to Mrs. T's Pierogies. Plus, it's the block party on Federal Street before the game, featuring local live music and alumni appearances by Rennie Stennett. For tickets, go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Friday. 1 week from tomorrow. We're just talking about Troy Tulowitzki, Justin Morneau, and those Colorado Rockies coming to Pittsburgh, and Garrett Cole, currently on the disabled list, figures to make at least one rehab start, if not a couple, before he makes his return. Now Carpenter with the infield in. And that will be enough to bring home the runner, you would think. McCutcheon will set up for a throw. Wong will tag, and Wong will score.
Well, they played some small ball there. Bunt, base hit. Stole second, excuse me. Sacrifice to third, and then the sac fly.
One.
Making some progress on the stole. I think.
Yes, you are.
And at least I catch myself now.
Occasional step back.
Yeah.
But big step forward.
That was the first mess up in a while.
That's hit hard to right by Taveras, but hooking into the seats. Jumped off his bat. Taveras, who homered in his major league debut. Struggled after that. Sent back down to the minor leagues and started hitting at AAA Memphis. And he's back in the big leagues. Popped up. Maybe a play for Alvarez. He's got some room. So a small ball run ties it at 1. Single by Colton Wong, and then he steals second. Went to third on the sacrifice bunt and scored on the sacrifice fly to center. Bob But talking about that bunt single, and as you'll see, it looked like he was running, as Bob said, in quicksand up there on the left.
Look at that. Can't get any speed going.
I mean, the contrast is amazing. He really took off first to second.
I'm glad we were able to show that.
Absolutely.
Gypsies.
What's wrong with the Gypsies?
Nothing.
They caught you, you mean?
Yeah.
You don't like that, do you?
No. No, I don't like to be caught.
Gypsies.
That was pretty close, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, Russell Martin singled in the run in the first.
Threw out the first man trying to steal. Has an RBI. Knocked in the first run of the game, which is always crucial.
No question.
Whoever scores first usually wins the game.
Love to see him get on here, leading off the fourth.
You will.
One and two.
32 and 13, Greg, when the Pirates score first. That's our record.
Shows you how important, again, that first run was.
We may have won the game with that RBI.
In case you're just tuning in and you're wondering about all these accolades, well, Bob selected Martin at the beginning of the game as his.
He's going to be my player of the game.
Player of the game.
Throw it away.
Close. One out.
Hey, Adam ball. Can't do anything about that.
One away. Miller will face Ike Davis, who flied out to center. Bucks got a 2-out single from Andrew McCutchen. Neil Walker drew a free pass after McCutchen had stolen second. McCutchen swiped third and then scored on the Martin base hit before Davis flied out to end the inning. Now 2 for 7 in the series.
It seemed like Miller's velocity on his fastball has backed up a little bit from when we first saw him. And the consistency of his velocity was so impressive early on. And he threw a ton of fastballs, had a lot of confidence in it. I think he throws quite as hard with it now.
6'3", 195 pounds. He won 15 games last year as a rookie. Finished with a .306 ERA. That fastball pulled foul. 31 starts in a full season by a Cardinal rookie. The most since Rick Ankiel back in the 2000 season to start that many games as a rookie. And again in the air to center. Long is out, and that's the second out of the fourth inning. Check out this day in Pirates history. It's on this day in 1971. Bucks beat the Braves 5-4. Down 4-3 in the eighth inning. Willie Stargell, a 2-run homer off Phil Niekro, gave the Pirates the lead. Stargell's 30th homer of the year and 10th off Braves pitching. Pushed his slugging percentage to .705 for the season. Hank Aaron drove in 2 for the Braves and homered off Steve Blass, who ended up with a no decision.
30 in July, 10 off the same team. That is amazing. They do tips to win back then?
I think so.
Pitcher stars will get picked to do well.
Betcha.
Many times.
And to right. Taveras will make the catch. Pirates go down 1-2-3, and that makes 9 straight retired by Shelby Miller. 1-1.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We're driven to be better. And by Levin Furniture, proudly featuring solid wood American-made Amish furniture. For furniture that lasts, shop Levin. Let's go Bucks!
To the bottom of the 4th inning here in St. Louis. Pirates try to salvage the finale. Tied at 1. Matt Holliday against Edinson Volquez. Strike 1. First inductees, the Cardinals Hall of Fame that opens this year, and Red Shanedeast, a great one, Hall of Famer, and Mike Shannon in the radio booth here at Busch. That's some baseball right there.
Yep.
Right?
A lot of years. Saw Willie McGee today. He was over at the hotel.
They're having a fantasy camp weekend here, huh? So Whitey Herzog in the Pirate clubhouse, I think, visiting with Ben Hurdle. That ball's fouled off. Fans didn't realize it. They see the ball hit off the third base bag, but first hit off of Holliday.
The fans and me. I didn't know that was a foul ball either. I was wondering why nobody was chasing it. And here's why. Got him on the toe. Josh was coming in just in case.
Two on Holliday. That ball obviously kicking past Pedro Alvarez, but a foul ball initially. It was interesting to see that video before the game, because Molina, obviously the clubhouse leader, and as we said, the no doubt team MVP. So when he's out, who takes over? And it was pretty clear that Matt Holliday took over that role of rallying the troops out in the looked like shallow outfield grass before the game. This was Matt Holliday gathering Cardinal players They had just learned that they were going to be without Molina for maybe 3 months, 8 to 12 weeks, for the torn ligament in his right thumb. And into right center field, and the Pirate outfielders played pretty deep. And this ball drops in front of Polanco. Let's go downstairs to Robbie and Smikowski.
Well, guys, you're talking about Cardinal greats a moment ago. Well, back in February, the Stan Musial Memorial Bridge was dedicated in honor of the Western PA native, often referred to in St. Louis as the greatest Cardinal ever. The bridge is just north of downtown along I-70, connects Illinois and Missouri, runs across the Mississippi. A lot of people, thousands, attended the ribbon cutting ceremony in the freezing cold. The Budweiser Clydesdales crossed the bridge the day they dedicated it, and known as the Stan Span, 2,800 feet start to finish. Stan Musial, of course, former Cardinal, 22 years in the Cardinals uniform.
The Stan Span. Now this little flare into left. Matt Adams seems to make a living these days hitting the ball the other way.
Yeah, he definitely gets his share of hits going that other direction.
Second in the league in hitting coming into this game. He now has an 8-game hitting streak with 12 hits in his last 20 at-bats.
He doesn't hit this one hard at all. Gets sawed off right on the label, but maybe just dunk it in.
What a season Matt Adams is having. Nobody would have predicted that this late in the year he'd be second in the National League behind only Troy Tulowitzki in the batting race. Now Peralta, who walked and was caught stealing in the second.
He could be quite a player. Starts adding a little bit more power to his game. If he can do that and maintain that batting average,
breaking ball stays in.
He would become really one of your best hitters in baseball. He certainly is big enough to add power.
Mainly the home runs. He's got 10 homers. He is 5th in the league in slugging.
That 10th home run was the game winner in the first game we played.
One ball, no strikes on Peralta. Nobody out. In need of a ground ball is Volquez. The fly ball toward right center field. Polanco is over. He'll make the catch. And it's 1st and 3rd. As Holiday tags. One out. Now it's John Jay to the plate.
Well, able to keep the double play in order with Adams playing that halfway. Not sure it was going to get caught.
It's early, but Volquez just one ground ball out, and that was thanks to the Shelby Miller bunt. A lot of balls in the air early on here. Strike one.
Use that ground ball right now. Got to be firm at somebody, though. Jay, like Wong, can get down that line.
One and one on Jay.
It's a pretty good pitch. Volquez pretty much hit the glove right where Martin had it. Martin wants that fastball on the inside corner. Edinson obliged. Didn't get a call, though.
One and two.
Come up with some pretty good pitches. That fastball now, a hook. love to have that double play, but a strikeout would work nicely here.
Shallow left there, Josh Harrison. And a block by Russell Martin keeps runner at third, Holiday and Adams at first.
A big difference when J-Hay is out there. A huge contrast. There's the block. J-Hay plays a very shallow outfield, where the other two guys, they like to play very deep. And I know that it's Jay hitting, but it's like that almost everybody that comes up. Personal preference. Harrison likes to move in a little bit, feels more comfortable with it. Polanco and McCutchen like to play deep. A lot of room behind Josh.
Ground ball. Second baseman, little bobble. Mercer got him. Walker to Mercer to Davis. Big time double play to end the bottom of the fourth inning threat. John Jay.
Promoted from Altoona to Indianapolis, an ERA of 1.91, and in his last start he gave up 6 runs in 6 1/3 innings. Well, tonight, look under the home runs, a line of what he did. 6 innings pitched, just 2 hits and a walk given up. All that came, the 2 hits and a walk, after 5 2/3 perfect innings. And here's the kicker: it was a 7-inning game 1 of a doubleheader, excuse me, and in doubleheaders in Indianapolis, Greg and Bob, they only play 7-inning games, so it's been real impressive. And Neil Huntington told me that Kingham has looked at this as a challenge, and he's been aggressive and attacked the zone with all of his pitches. And he's a confident young man. He probably believed that he should have been in AAA much longer than he has, and he's going to show us that he's ready. So Nick Kingham doing some fantastic work down there in AAA as Edson Volquez has to rush down and get the batting gloves that he forgot, Greg and Bob.
All right, Robbie, as Jordy Mercer takes a pitch down low. And by the way, kind of a side story, and I think an emerging story. The save again went to Andy Oliver, and since he has been placed in that closer's role, he has been tremendous. And Neil Huntington has said that Oliver is probably going to be helping this Pirates bullpen before too long. Nice to have even another lefty for Clint Hurdle. Andy Oliver has really taken that closer's role.
He's always had that great arm, and control problems kind of held him back. If he beats that, he'll definitely be a successful big leaguer. Left-handed, great arm.
Imagine a third hard-throwing lefty to go along with Watson and Wilson. We might see that before too long. 3-2 now on Mercer. As Robbie said, Volquez on deck. 5th inning. Andrew McCutchen got the rally started in the 1st and scored the Pirates' only run. And a leadoff walk. To set the stage for Volquez to try and drop down another sacrifice bunt. He did that in the 2nd. He moved Alvarez from 2nd to 3rd. There was 1 out at the time.
This one will be a little more important to be able to move a runner in scoring position.
The walk breaks the string of 9 straight retired by Miller. His 2nd base on balls allowed. Ball 1. Takes the strike. It's 1-1.
That would have been a good one to put down that right side.
I think that's why Volquez reacted like he did.
It's a fastball that's down, so it's easy to get on the ground. And it was on the outside half of the plate, and he wants to bunt it toward first. You have Adams holding on the runner. He can't charge right away.
Bunts it toward 3rd, and we'll get the job done. Sacrifice goes 5-3. Have some fun in the sun with your Buccos and a summer 6-pack. You choose 6 Pirates games throughout this summer and guarantee your seats for sold-out games at PNC Park. Packages start as low as $96 each. To get your summer 6-pack, go to pirates.com/summer. Here in St. Louis, the Cardinals and the Pirates are tied at 1 in the 5th. Gregory Polanco has flied out to right and popped to 3rd. Polanco 0 for his last 8 at bats. Pirates are 1 for 4 tonight with runners in scoring position. The theme we touched on in our open.
The Pirates really have done a much better job this year overall, and I'm not talking about the last couple of days. Very poor at hitting with runners in scoring position last season. Had 220 something, I believe.
They upped that close to 30 points this year.
Yeah,
close to 250, I believe.
And getting the job done.
Dodgers as a team hit 278 to lead the league. Padres have the worst mark in that department. They're hitting 200 with runners in scoring position.
The league average now 245. So Pirates are actually above the league average.
Polanco 13 Major League RBIs. 2-1. This is all new to Gregory Polanco. All these different pitchers. First time around against the Cardinals. His first trip to St. Louis. heading to Cincinnati tonight.
There'll be ups and downs for him. He'll get into a group of pitchers that he likes to hit and sees well. And he'll have a few great games in a row, and then he'll have some slow spots. Pitching's getting the best of him. Different teams, different pitchers, different scenarios with guys on base, guys not on base. He's going to see a lot of different types of pitches. He's got to get that all figured out and have his own little scouting book in his mind. How these different guys throw to him personally in these different scenarios, like here, for instance, with a man in scoring position. What's he going to see from Miller? I'll have to remember this at bat.
He patiently draws a walk after missing that 3-1 pitch.
Yeah, Miller, for instance, he's going to be doing the same thing also. Okay, here's a new hitter. Probably heard a lot about him, got an initial little scouting report, but you always need to feel him out yourself to see what's he going to do to me. How does he react to my curveball?
Harrison to right. Taveras for the out. Moving up 90 feet, Mercer. So that's an out with a man in scoring position. Bucks now 1 for 5, and here's Andrew McCutchen.
A lot of offensive numbers around baseball have been coming down in the last 5 years. The batting average been up in the 250s for the National League with runners in scoring position. Pitchers certainly this year everywhere seem to have the upper hand.
This series, McCutchen 0 for 4 in these situations. Hit a 2-run homer on Tuesday night. Those are the 2 RBIs he has driven in the series, and there his overall numbers this season with runners in scoring position,
which are pretty impressive. You look at the batting average, home runs.
Eighth best average in the league in these situations. One ball, one strike on McCutchen. McCutchen hits .313 lifetime against Shelby Miller, who has now walked 3, including 2 in the inning. His pitch count 75. That Polanco might be on the move. McCutchen stole 2 bases in the first inning off of Miller and Tony Cruz.
A little easier to steal in these situations because you can run as soon as that left foot comes up off the ground, where in the past you never really knew whether they're going to be a fake to third. Can't do that anymore. The rule change.
Slicing away from Taveras and into the seats. One ball, 2 strikes on McCutchen.
It's an important moment for both teams right now. These are the kind of things you try to create, moments you try to create. Get a couple of guys on with your best hitter up. And if you can do that once or twice during a game, that's how you generate the runs.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And into right field and a base hit. Andrew McCutchen gives the Pirates a 2-1 lead. A single to right. Scores Mercer. RBI number 57 on the year.
He really went upstairs to hit this ball. How high this pitch was. Almost shoulder high. Tried to throw it by him upstairs and couldn't do it. If he would have got that ball in a little bit, possibly he would have had a better result. But it was out over the plate, even though it was very high. So Kutch was able to get to the head of the bat to it. Slap it out there for a 2-out RBI.
Walker. A walk and a strikeout. Clint Hurdle has said that Walker is just now starting to swing the bat like he did before the emergency appendectomy. So it's taken a couple of weeks to get that timing down. A couple of hits last night in the second inning off Lance Lynn. Neil Walker, it's his 12th home run of the season. And then in the 4th inning, he goes the other way with a double. He's riding an 11-game hitting streak. Crack toward right. Taveras is back, and it is over his head. Polanco scores. McCutchen racing home. He will score a 2-run double for Neil Walker, and a big one indeed. The Pirates take a 4-1 lead in the 5th.
A couple of big hits with 2 outs. Taveras, a little bit of a hesitation on this. It's a line drive, and it's tough for the outfielders to watch or get that reading immediately. Little hesitation there before he broke back and just got over his glove. Huge hit. You just think of if Walker hadn't have missed that time, what his numbers would be like right now. And especially hitting in the cleanup spot with all that speed up there in front of him. But got the second half of the season to watch that.
Hopefully his opportunities should be aplenty with that spot in the batting order now.
Yeah, hopefully that's going to really be a productive top of the lineup.
Russell Martin, RBI single in the 1st. Walker, by the way, driving in his 40th and 41st runs of the year. Gregory Polanco coming in, and Andrew McCutchen scoring from first. Two and 0. Edinson Volquez now with the lead.
Feeling pretty good right now. 3-run lead.
This is starting to look like one of these grind them out type of games that we talked about against Shelby Miller.
The Pirate hitters have a lot of confidence against Miller. Miller right now with the open base, he knows how well Martin hits him, so he's being very careful.
Swinging away on the 3-0 fastball that's fouled past Nick Leyva. It's always fun when you've got the speed of Gregory Polanco at second and Andrew McCutchen from first. He can air it out with 2 outs.
And not much doubt that he's going to score on that ball.
Three and 2 the count now. And Tyler Lyons loosens in the Cardinal bullpen. Line down the line and left, but it is a foul ball. Hard off the bat of Russell Martin. Stays 3-2.
Come on, Russell. You got it. Madera, throw him another strike. Look at the intensity on his eyes. Go ahead. Throw him a strike.
Walked him.
Figured that.
That is the third walk of the inning for Shelby Miller. Lyons about ready. A 30-pitch fifth inning for Shelby Miller. Matheny going to hold off for the moment. This could be Miller's last batter. Ike Davis certainly could deliver the knockout punch. Davis has flied to center and popped to the second baseman Colton Wong out in the shallow center.
He's trying to wait because he has the pitcher spot coming up. Miller spot's going to hit third. He would like him to finish the inning if he could.
Ball one. See that pitch count now approaching 90 for the game. Two and 0. And now we're going to check and see the health of Shelby Miller. The trainer comes running out of the dugout. Mike Matheny also.
I wonder what it is that they saw.
It didn't look like Cruz or anybody else. This is the last pitch.
It's not a confidence builder when you're on the mound, when you're struggling so much that they come out and see if you're okay.
Jeez.
You okay? That's not something you like to hear. Unless you're not okay, then it's all right. But if you're healthy, and they come out and say, "What's wrong?"
I'll tell you what's wrong. I've just thrown 32 pitches this inning. What do you think?
I can't throw a strike. That's what's wrong.
Yeah. And it's 3-0.
This is an issue that he has definitely had.
Not a look of confidence right now from Shelby Miller. Searching. And a 3-0 pitch that's fouled off to the right. Looking for his first. Mike Davis talking about his first home run since June the 9th. It's over a month for Davis. Miller has given up a dozen. It's a 3-1 count. And it's popped up. And the third baseman, Carpenter, will make the catch. Pirates score 3. A couple of walks in the inning. And Andrew McCutchen with an opposite field single to right. And Neil Walker, a 2-run double. picking up RBI single. RBI number 57 for the season, and Neil Walker driving a pair. A 3-run fifth. Gregory Polanco scoring one of those runs. Shelby Miller walked 3 in that inning, giving up the 3 runs. So bottom third of the order against Edinson Volquez, Tony Cruz, Colton Wong, and then the pitcher spot due up.
No, this is exactly what you want when you put up those runs. You get the big inning, is have the bottom of the lineup coming up. Take advantage of that now. Keep things going in your favor. Get off the field right away. Let the guys go back to hitting again. Doesn't always work out that way. If you can pick where you're at in the order, this is perfect.
0-2. Struck out Cruz looking in the second.
Cruz takes a nice walk out into the grass. Always love it when the hitters decide that they want to go walk around out in the grass.
You say you always loved it?
Look, where's it going? Around the grass again.
Well, isn't it kind of like when a pitcher walks off the mound onto the grass?
It doesn't happen nearly as often as the hitter does. But yes, the same thing. They should both. The hitter should stay in the box, and the pitcher should get the throw and go right back up to the rubber. Unless he has a sweaty hand, wants to grab the rosin.
That guy on your left, the Mad Hungarian, he'd get behind the mound. And,
only once.
Yeah, but once he did, he meant business, didn't he?
He would do that to start the inning. He would go back there and have a little show he'd put on.
1 out. What a show it was. Raboski would pound that fist into the mitt behind the mound and then storm onto the top of the hill. Did he always do that? Is your recollection, or did it start when you were?
No, he did that.
Him?
Well, he started in St. Louis, and when I played with him in Atlanta,
right,
and he kind of stopped doing it in Atlanta. Well, it's not as effective when you're throwing about 87. And when he started losing his fastball, then it wasn't as I don't know, the intimidator. It started to go away, and he realized that too. I mean, it was for show, and he would say, I can even remember him one time mentioning it, that going back behind the mound and pounding the glove doesn't quite have the same effect as it did when you're throwing the ball 95, 96 miles an hour.
He really didn't put on much of a show. He just
hit you in the neck if you did anything wrong.
He was your pitching coach one time, wasn't he?
In Atlanta.
Yeah, what was that like, having Bob Gibson as your pitching coach? Didn't he set the bar kind of high?
We had 2 pitching coaches.
Oh,
we had Rube Walker was also. Rube Walker was kind of he was the pitching coach, and then they brought Bob Gibson in to be kind of like the co-pitching coach, but he was.
This one pitch gets both players, Wong and Martin.
Wong a little worse, it looks like. Gibby was a little bit more of like, trying to coach you how they wanted you to think out there, tough guy, that kind of thing. And Rube Walker was more into teaching the mechanics, how to wind up, that sort of deal. Catchers just every game just get the heck beat out of them.
Mark Ellis pinch hitting here for Shelby Miller.
You see a hitter get hit one off his toe or something. that happens to a catcher almost every other inning. He gets hit somewhere like that.
Chopper, gonna be a tough DP to turn. They'll try it. There's one, and no chance for the second one. Mercer to Walker. They get the force, and hobbling off the field, Colton Wong. We're talking about the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski, and when he was with the Cardinals and Royals, Braves, the oh man.
Yeah, that's the Al I know. Watch this.
This was the greatest one. He didn't He throwing him back, and then
look at Al. Staring at him.
The whole plate umpire guns it at him. Okay,
he rolls. He rolls it out.
That's one of the greatest sequences of all time.
It doesn't happen anymore. That kind of stuff. It's great, isn't it? Look at him look at the ball laying there. Oh.
We'll have to ask Al who that umpire was. That was hilarious.
I've told the story before that one of your favorites, I think, is when he fired the ball into the stands.
Yep.
that was like maybe second day with the Braves.
When you had arrived,
I'd just been traded over.
So you're unaware of,
Well, no, I know who he is.
But what you really saw the real guy, the intimidator, right?
Yes. They start this 2 outs.
Go ahead.
Spring training, we're doing the little fielding bunt drill. The other team is coming in, and they're sitting over above the third base dugout in the stands. Nobody's there yet. It's a little early. We're out there doing our drills, and they start heckling Al because the other team usually heckles him because of all that stuff he does. So he comes over to third base line, fields a bunt, and instead of taking it and throwing it to first, just throws a rocket right into the stands, right in the middle of everybody.
Deep to right center field, and McCutchen is there.
And that shut everybody up, and then they went
dispersed.
Down, got dispersed, got the clubhouse.
Cars and a rental car. Just show sobers and the speed of guitar. And I'm just trying to fit in. And I'm out with the stars and a cup made of tin. Lost in a crowd, covered in sin. But who can be in? I'm out with the stars.
Great images from the Allegheny Health Network Supermo. The Clarks going to be at Stage AE on July the 12th. Coming up on, well, that'll be Saturday. And a nice night here in St. Louis on a Thursday night. Tyler Lyons will take over. The lefty out of their bullpen.
Not much work so far. 6 games. I didn't see him slam the glove either as it came to the mound. Did you?
I didn't.
Just kind of walked up there.
Now, what's wrong with him?
He's not trying to intimidate anybody. I can watch those Lebowski highlights all day.
No doubt. Absolutely great.
But the one where the hitter threw down the bat and he just charged him.
Yeah.
Got down low, picked him up.
One ball, one strike on Alvarez. Was 1 for 2 against Miller. Lions off the hill. And gets some note. Dropped by Adams. The ball and Alvarez arriving at the same time.
Did that hit Alvarez? Couldn't tell.
Sounded like it.
Yeah, you hear like a little double click. Yeah. Like maybe it bounced off his hip or something. Like a foul tip. What they call that? Hit?
Haven't seen or heard yet.
They're mulling it over.
One ball, no strikes to count on Jordy Mercer. Bounce back to Lyons. Oh, and he throws the ball past second. A heads-up play by the second baseman Wong. By then it was too late.
If Lyons just lets this go, it's the easiest double play in the world. Peralta fields it, steps on the bag. Watch. Peralta will catch it, step on the bag, throw to first.
So an infield hit for Alvarez. Fielder's choice and an error on Lyons. Boy, and has he opened the door now for the Pirates to add on a couple.
Yeah, this is where you really have to take advantage and get a couple more runs over. Hudson needs to move him a long 90 feet at the top of the lineup. Let's knock him home.
And now a lot of movement there on the infield as the pitch was down and in. And Cruz needs to talk to Tyler Lyons here, who was down in the minor leagues for a time. Returned just a few days ago.
Which way would you bunt this ball? I'd bunt the Lions. I want to see him make a throw again. I'd better put it back to the mound.
Again, they've got that play where the middle infielders are breaking for the corners.
Now, why did he spin around? Somebody missed a sign.
And he pops up the bunt. And Carpenter's going to let it drop and throw the ball into shallow center field. And Mercer will be out. In a crazy play with John Jay, the center fielder, stepping on the bag. Have you ever seen that? Carpenter let it drop.
How about John Jay?
An unassisted put out at second. Fielder's choice 5-8.
That's a new one. How about the three plays?
Three throws here.
Wow.
Well, actually, the Carpenter throw would have been a good one for Lyons.
I mean, that was a great play on his part to let the ball bounce, but he had to realize that
nobody's going to be there.
The corner infielders or the middle infielders are going to the corner. Shortstop goes to third.
Blanco fouls it off his foot. That was crazy.
I truly have never seen that.
Like I said,
where the play ends up being the center fielder and the base runner racing to the second base bag. That was a new one.
Mercer was the runner forced out. Mercer reached because Lions throw in the dirt on the comebacker. Now it's 1 ball and 1 strike. John Jay. Johnny on the spot. One and 2. That saves Carpenter an error. Alvarez started this inning with that dribbler, and Lions threw the ball that appeared to glance off of Alvarez and then dropped by Adams. Mercer, the comebacker, a double play ball that Lions threw in the dirt, and then the Volquez pop-up bunt. Carpenter lets drop, thinking about a double play, but forgets that there's nobody at second. He throws a strike right at the bag, but nobody there, and now Polanco takes a pitch inside, 2-2.
Look out. Curveball didn't break. Gregory a little trouble against the lefties. Part of the game he needs to work on. Another curveball didn't break.
3-2. Blanco did okay in the minor leagues against left-handed pitching. In fact, he hit .338 this year at AAA Indy against lefties. And the bases are loaded for Josh Harrison. Second walk for Polanco, and out comes Derek Lilliquist, the Cardinal pitching coach. Tyler Lyons made 4 starts for the Cardinals this season. 4 years ago, a 9th round draft pick out of Oklahoma State.
He's got his work cut out. Just 1 out, bases loaded. Middle of the lineup coming up.
Harrison has popped up to short, popped to second, and flied out to right. A modest 6-game hitting streak going for Jay Hay. Fouls the first pitch off.
Shallow in that outfield. They are just daring Jay Hay to hit a gap shot. Hit one hard out toward the track.
Chopped foul.
That's kind of what I'm looking for. I want to see a chopper, see what happens next. Crazy inning.
Oh, 2. And 1 ball and 2 strikes. Harrison trying to come up with a big hit here. Bounced foul. We are getting some questions on Twitter. Some folks wondering about the infield fly rule, whether that should have been invoked. And you look at the rule: ordinary effort given all circumstances. A fly ball hit toward left center field, pretty deep by Josh Harrison, and it'll bounce and go into the seats for a book rule double, as John Jay gave chase. Josh Harrison drives in a pair, and it is now 6-1.
That was just a long fly ball, and that's what they were challenging him to do. They were coming in, playing very shallow, saying, I don't think you can get one over our heads, a fly ball that's going to get to the track. Well, Josh proved them wrong.
He burns them.
It's the long fly ball, and they're in tight. They just can't get there. There's that's really the big hit that you're looking for.
Swing and a miss, and here comes Polanco for the plate, and he will score. Gets away from Cruz, and the Pirates open up a 7-1 lead.
This is probably one of the sloppiest innings we've seen anyone play on defense in a long time.
Pass ball charged to Tony Cruz, who's having a difficult night. On the first night, he replaces Yadier Molina. Not the evening he was hoping to have. The backup catcher hitless at the plate, and now having trouble on that swinging strike. Two and one the count. Three and one. And we're just getting clarification about that. Basically, infield fly isn't called on the bunt.
No.
So. Three-one pitch into center field. Plenty deep as Jay goes back to the track. McCutchen will bring home Harrison. Sacrifice fly. And the Pirates lead the Cardinals 8-1.
Now, this is the kind of stuff you love to do when the other team gives you the opportunity. And the Cardinals certainly did that. You want to take advantage of it, blow the game open, and then hopefully you'll be able to cruise the rest of the way. Game has been blown open. Now it's up to the pitching to take this one home.
Batting for the right side now is Walker. Two more RBIs for McCutchen. Walker has already extended his hitting streak to 12 straight games. Mike Matheny is going to get another lefty loosening the bullpen. Tyler Lyons is struggling even at AAA this year. McCutchen and Harrison chat. 3-0. Nick Greenwood getting ready. Three balls, one strike the count. Neil Walker. Lions at a 5.35 ERA in 7 starts this season at AAA Memphis. It's fouled back and out of play. this continues, you might get a chance to see Matt Haig and Jeff Decker later in the ball game get some playing time, and Michael Martinez popped up, and Wong will make the catch. Pirates take full advantage of some rough play on the part of the infield. Going to get to our AT fan photo and keep those coming in on Twitter. Use the hashtag BucsFanPhoto, whether you're in the Pittsburgh area, Western Pennsylvania, or even here in St. Louis, where we see the Jolly Roger in all the ballparks. And Pat McLaren on hand here at Busch Stadium. Again, use the hashtag BucsFanPhoto. They are everywhere. We expect to see a bunch, certainly in Cincinnati. Those Reds lost in extra innings today to the Chicago Cubs. They also lost Homer Bailey. I don't know how long he'll be out. Brandon Phillips. And the former Red Edinson Volquez facing Oscar Taveras. Comfortable lead.
This fire strikes now.
Oh, 0-2. Volquez got that big double play ball off the bat of John Jay in the 4th inning. A tie game. They had placed runners at first and third, one out. Stays 0-2. The ERA keeps coming down. And that hiccup a few starts back that we mentioned against the Reds. There's the magician, Ray Searage.
The Wizard.
The Wizard, yep. Broken bat roller foul. Remains 0-2.
Wizards can fix anything. And Ray certainly has put a few guys back together.
Francisco Liriano will come back off the disabled list and he'll pitch on Sunday. If that rehab start the other day was any indication, you can never tell. It's minor leagues, but it seems like more often than not you don't get a great rehab start from veterans when they are ready to come off the DL.
Yeah, Hart normally is not in it.
Well, obviously his was.
Just exercise.
He was sensational for Indianapolis the other day. Hard hit and dropped initially by Walker, but he keeps it there to retire Taveras. We're talking about that series against the Reds in Cincinnati. Nissan presents the road ahead. Jeff Locke tomorrow night against Matt Latos. Then Saturday evening it's Charlie Morton against Mike Leake. And there's that pitching matchup Sunday afternoon. Francisco Liriano against Johnny Cueto. A wild card rematch. Charlie Morton was as good as he's ever been, right? The other night.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I mean, the stuff is always there with it, but sometimes the control's not. That was a combination of being able to do just about anything he wanted with a baseball as far as placing it, the breaking ball, that sinker of his. If you combine those two, he's going to dominate the other team.
Jeff Locke has been excellent. Bouncer to Mercer. And Matt Holliday is the second out.
Okay, he's going out there doing what he's supposed to. Throw this ball over the plate, put it in play, and get some outs. Throwing just 80 pitches.
All of a sudden, he's getting some ground balls. 6 ground ball outs in the last 2 2/3 innings. Has that ERA we talked about down to 3.76. Has to keep putting up those zeros. And a fly ball, center field, should be easy for McCutchen. 6 of the last 7 games, Edinson Volquez has gone at least 6 innings. Back in St. Louis with the Pirates ahead in this one 8-1. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. So Volquez the 1 run on 4 hits through 6 innings. Here's Russell Martin. Takes strike one. Martin, Volquez's battery mate, of course.
Had a big
Having
part
a great
in tonight's,
game. Yep.
tonight's game. You know, it's always at least half your catcher, right?
You ask Volquez, he'll tell you how important Martin has been to his success tonight. And Russell Martin with a 2-hit night. He's on base for the 3rd time. And you'd have to say he's having one of the better nights on the club.
I would have to say that, yes. He got a tough pitch to handle, off-speed pitch. Waxing in the left.
That was tough. Here now is Gabby Sanchez. Sanchez pinch hitting for Ike Davis. No, seriously, Martin has had a solid game. On base 3 times.
Had the key RBI of the night. Team that scores first wins.
You could argue that.
And I will.
And I understand. To defend some of the other guys. Certainly McCutcheon's opposite field single that gave the Pirates the lead in the 5th. They've not relinquished. Neil Walker, that 2-run double. How big was that?
Yeah, if we're going to talk serious, then I got to go with the Walker double.
Well, we're not talking serious.
I got to talk with the Walker double.
We're not talking serious here.
But if we're just going to promote my pregame pick, then we got to go with the Martin for knocking in the first run of the game.
Oh, I see what you're doing. I'm sorry. You're right.
But yeah, Walker's hit was huge. That was a big play.
Holton Wong in shallow right.
Forrest never saw that one.
Join the Pirates for a paint party with Paint Monkey July 21st. Tickets are $50, include a pregame painting class and a ticket to the Pirates-Dodgers game at 7:05. For tickets to this or any other paint party, go to pirates.com/paintmonkey. July 21st. Clayton Kershaw. You might want to buy your tickets to that series right now. Chance you'll see Kershaw coming off a 2-hitter over 8 innings his last time out. He has a streak of 36 consecutive scoreless innings going into his start tonight against San Diego. Bounce to first. Adams' slick play gets the out there, and now Russell Martin will be tagged out on the double play.
Yeah, good try by Martin, knowing that he needed to get in that rundown.
Good point. What a game he's having.
8-1 over the Cardinals. We head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Well, tonight in Bradenton, Florida, Evan Chambers was honored by the Marauders in similar fashion to the Altoona Curve a couple weeks ago. The jerseys tonight include an EC patch in honor of Evan. These are some T-shirts that are being given away. 500 given away with his number 53 and name on the back. The players wore it during a pregame ceremony, and they're also reportedly wearing those under their game jerseys during the game tonight. There's also a memorabilia and game day experiences silent auction going on to raise money for the Foundation for Dreams. Evan Chambers was a volunteer for the Foundation for Dreams, Greg and Bob. And another special moment, they retired Evan Chambers, number 53. It will hang over the right field wall at McKechnie Field in a real nice way to honor a fantastic young man who left us way too soon.
Well, that is for sure, Robbie. No question about that. The sudden death that shocked everyone in December. This past December, when Evan Chambers passed away at the age of 24 in his sleep. One of the Pirates' prospects. Johnny Peralta. Past the new first baseman. Gabby Sanchez into right. Peralta leads off the 7th inning for the Cardinals with a base hit to right. He's on base for the second time. 5th hit for St. Louis off of Volquez.
Well, if you're Edinson right now, that's what you want to see, the swinging early in the count, going after that first pitch. Just like that. The quicker you can get that ball put in play, quicker you can get some outs and hopefully go deeper into the ball game.
Double play ball again.
3 pitches, 2 outs. Nice.
Second time that Jay has hit into a double play.
Really another one of those things of how the modern game has changed. 20, 30 years ago, you would never see a team that's down like the Cardinals go up and just start swinging at everything. It's standard procedure. Once you got down by a significant amount, you'd always just take a strike.
I would think that would be something that would be standard, timeless. I don't understand that. Why is that different now, do you think?
I don't know, Greg. I agree with you. You would think it would be timeless. It gets the game over quicker.
And the right away.
4 pitches, 3
My
outs.
goodness.
See what I mean? I mean,
it's like they're helping Volquez try and pitch a complete game.
It's like getaway day on spring training.
Yeah. Laugher in the 6th inning. Tyler Lyons' throw hits Alvarez. Adams can't make the play, and then a double play ball is thrown into the dirt, and then Matt Carpenter trying to get a double play on a pop-up bunt, throws the ball into center field. Nobody there. John Jay, the center fielder, has to make the play to get an out. Then a pass ball. Tony Cruz not able to handle a pitch. Polanco scores. The Pirates bring 4 in the 6th inning. Not the type of baseball that Mike Matheny expects or has been seeing with his Cardinals lately.
Definitely one of the craziest innings we'll see this year. But that's all right. You know, they set the table, and the Pirates took advantage of it. Got themselves a nice, comfortable lead.
Popped up towards shallow center, and Jay will make the play. Still have to get 6 outs, but this game seems to be well in hand. Clint Hurdle going to check with Euclides Rojas and the bullpen. Volquez is going to be given every opportunity to get those 6 outs, it would appear. But this is a nice way to come back after 3 tough losses to the Cardinals. And we talked about this in their open, that even though the Pirates did lose 3 in a row, they picked a pretty good time to go on a little mini losing streak, because the Brewers have been losing. They lost again today, and the Pirates can move to within 3.5 games of first place.
3 in the loss column. You have 4 teams within 3 games of each other, right at the top of the division.
We saw Yuki, Euclides Rojas in the bullpen. Trying to get a door open. 3-1 on Volquez. And Lyons walks the Pirates pitcher.
Really impressive outing by Lyons.
Again, looking at his AAA numbers, it has been really a rough season for this left-hander. Tyler Lyons out of Lubbock, Texas, drafted in the 9th round 4 years ago. Polanco fouls this ball out of play. He has walked the last 2 times up and scored a pair of runs.
No, right now at this stage of his career, that's his job, to run scoring, get on base, touch home plate.
He's doing it at a nice pace too. 23 runs scored, and this is 29th major league game.
Well, that is a real good pace.
Keep in mind he pinch hit in a couple of those games, so not even 9 innings of work in a couple of those contests for Polanco, who came to the big leagues because Neil Walker was placed on the DL with the emergency appendectomy. That forced the Pirates' hand and brought up Polanco. And he goes down on strikes. 2 outs in the 8th.
Do a better job against the lefties.
Josh Harrison, 2-run double in the 6th. 7-game hitting streak for him. Volk has walked with 1 out. He has scored a run. Bucks have out hit the Redbirds 8-5, lead by 7. And a base hit. What new for Jay Hay?
Multi-hit game.
He likes to go up there and swing that shillelagh, doesn't he?
Yep. Doesn't seem to matter what you throw him either. Yet, for this year, I really just kind of thought of him as a dead fastball hitter. Really goes out, hunts fastballs, which I think as a pinch hitter, which you see him a lot at, that's your strategy you need to use. But hitting the breaking balls, that one there was a little breaking pitch. Got left out over the plate, stayed back, hit it hard.
And now trying to add to the lead and add to the stats. Andrew McCutchen. 2 for 3, 2 runs scored, a couple of RBIs, a couple of steals tonight. He has driven in 10 runs in his last 7 games.
That stat line's going to look pretty good when he lines up on the foul line for that All-Star game. Got it pretty much all going. Batting average up there pretty good in home runs now with 14. You would think he'd have 60 some RBIs by the time he gets there. He's at 58 right now. Hopefully he'll get a couple more in Cincinnati.
Just stays alive. 1 year ago today, he was hitting .300 with 9 homers and 46 RBIs.
And won the MVP.
Pretty interesting that you look at all those numbers, the OPS, batting average, homers, RBIs, runs scored, and the like, and he is up there in the top seemingly 2 or 3 in almost every offensive category, and at least at the halfway mark approaching the Midsummer Classic, there is really an argument that he would be the leading contender for another MVP.
Sure.
You'd have to say that he's having probably the second best game tonight behind that man. Russell Martin. Stabbed by Lyons. This time he'll run about 3/4 of the way to first. An underhand toss to Adams. 6 more outs to get.
broadcast is presented by the authority of the Pittsburgh Pirates and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
8-1 here in St. Louis. The Cardinals won the first 3 games, first 2 in walk-off fashion. 5-2 was the final last night. And tonight, Edinson Volquez, Pirates more timely hitting and taking advantage of the miscues in that 6th, scoring 3 unearned runs. Volquez looking for those 6 outs, and can he get the elusive complete game? He's at the 87 pitch mark. What do you think, Bob? Will he do it tonight?
I like his chances if the Cardinals keep going with their approach of just
yeah, true.
Everything he throws up there, and like they're trying to get the game over.
Yep.
Now, if they get patient on him and start taking pitches, and then you don't know what might happen. But yeah, what was the last inning? He got 3 outs on 4 pitches.
He has 1 career complete game. That was 2 years ago with San Diego. Pirates don't have one as a team yet. The Cubs, Rockies, and Royals, the other teams in baseball without a pitcher going the distance. Ball a strike.
They went breaking ball, change up. I think I would have been awfully tempted just to say, okay, here's a fastball, there you swing. Another change up. Wouldn't like that ball. Just roll it in there. That umpire likes that.
Do a Raboski. Pull a Raboski. Five times he's thrown 100 pitches or more. Through 110 against Tampa Bay 3 starts back. His season high.
Did he walk anybody tonight?
One.
Well, that's kind of what we've been seeing from him, especially the good games. Doesn't beat himself. And what Miller did tonight.
Chance for an out here. They'll get it. 1 down. Daniel Descalso will pinch hit. Lions went 3 in relief of the starter Miller, who gave up 4 runs. Overall 186, but you see those good pinch hitting numbers for the veteran Daniel Descalso. Pops up the first pitch. It's going to go out of play. You got the big lead. Jason Mott going to come on in the 9th. It's almost like in this case Volquez it's a race against that pitch count now.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to imagine a situation where they get guys on and Hurdle would lift them with a 7-run lead. It's more, I think anyway, Bob, based on that pitch count.
Well, if he gets a couple of guys on, you don't want him to get any cheap earned runs tagged on after he's pitched well also. And that's something that managers are always thinking about. You've had a good game. You don't want to have 3 earned runs tagged on you in that 9th inning, even so you win 8-4 instead of 8-1. Still a W, and who cares? But You like to try and protect your guys' earned run average a little bit.
Appeal down to third, no swing. It's 2-2 on Descalzo. As we said, his season high pitch count 110, and as Clint Hurdle has said time and time again, I'm tied to their arm and their careers more than others outside this organization. Struck him out with a changeup. 2 down. Looks like he wants it.
Beautiful change up here. Great arm action. Ball had a little run on it. Starts off, looks like it's going to be on the outside corner, and then just moves down and away.
That's his first strikeout since he punched out Tony Cruz looking in the second inning.
Nice little screwball action on that last one.
4 Ks for Volquez.
Edson told me early in the year that, as a young guy, came up, he had that great arm, that he really would sometimes get carried away with the strikeouts. And now he's matured, and it's not that big a deal for him. He doesn't give it any thought. He said, I just want to get outs. Strikeouts are no big deal. And when you're young and you can throw 96, 97 miles an hour, then you want to rack up those Ks. But and that goes along. There's a wear and tear on your arm. You look up in the 6th inning and you've already thrown 95 pitches. So you got 7 or 8 strikeouts. Big deal. Now you're out of the game. He goes for efficiency now.
Shook off Martin there a couple times and delivers a strike, 1 and 2. Fastball up. Got him swinging.
Look at his control right now. He's just following the glove anywhere Russell puts it.
From the team, Clint Hurdle and our Root Sports analysts. Pirates post game presented by Allegheny Health Network comes up after the game on Root Sports. Ballpark Village.
So unhappy folks.
Yeah.
A lot of red shirts that just didn't go their way tonight.
We spent some time there last night. A couple of us had the night off. As you and Tim took care of the radio side, and we were able to enjoy that Ballpark Village.
You like it?
Very nice. John Jay moves to left. Peter Borges takes over in center. Jason Mott. 1 on Neil Walker.
17 games so far this year.
Crack towards center. Borges is there. Walker lines out to center. Well, that bullpen is quiet.
Yep.
We said before, it's almost like these complete games are no hitters anymore. There's Rare.
You got to quit talking about him because we jinx it. Like a no-hitter. You can't mention no-hitter. You can't mention the complete game.
No, we do. Here's Russell Martin. (2-0). Mott missed all of last year. Tommy John surgery for him. Martin tonight on base 3 times. RBI single in the first. Walked in the 5th, singled in the 7th. And hits a fly ball deep to left field. Going back is Jay and clear the deck. Cannonball coming. That sews it up. Russell Martin is your player of the game. The home run for Martin, his 5th.
Absolutely awesome game when you look at the whole package. Knocking in that first run, and what the job he's done behind the plate. You know, catching what could be the first complete game of the year. Great job, Russell.
Russell Martin, number 5.
Boy, he did smoke that one, didn't he? Pow.
(9-1) Pirates. Russell Martin's 2nd 3-hit game of the season. Russell Martin has 3-hit games. Pirates win big. Now this is a big dinger. Jay went back a few steps, but pretty much knew that was gone. June 24th in Tampa was his last homer. Two and 2 on Gabby Sanchez. Pinch hit in the 7th and popped up. Mott, the former closer, trying to come back, recovering from Tommy John surgery. Saved 42 games 2 years ago. Another foul ball. 95. Pirates getting some good swings off of Mott. Miller went 5, gave up 4 runs. He's on the hook. Tyler Lyons, 3 innings, 4 runs, just 1 earned. And now Mott, who just gave up the long home run to Russell Martin. Popped up. Wong. Shallow right. 2 outs.
That's a little interesting shot there of Mott shaking no as he's going into a stretch. I'm assuming he must have 2 pitches. So if he's shaking no on one, then you don't bother putting down anything else. Just don't see that very often. Nope, and I'm not going to wait for the next sign. That's it.
Time to go. Makes sense, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's common sense. If you only got 2 pitches,
right,
shake no and go in your stretch. That way the catcher doesn't have that option of trying to make you throw something, putting it down again.
A couple of hits tonight for Pedro Alvarez.
Mont's an ex-catcher, converted catcher. Got that delivery where he just throws from behind his ear, kind of like a catcher does.
It's going to be out of play. One and two. Russell Martin already ready to take his position behind the plate, and Edinson Volquez thinking about those 3 outs.
He'll get him.
Interestingly enough, the last Pirates pitcher to toss a complete game, Francisco Liriano, did it here August the 14th. And irony that Shelby Miller took the loss that night. Popped up to shallow left. Jay makes the catch. There we go. Volquez looks for the Pirates' first complete game of the season. Get the Bucks on the road to Cincy. On 8 innings, has allowed 1 run on 5 hits.
And it wasn't just a dominant pitch. He used just about everything tonight. You saw some great change-ups. He was throwing his breaking ball for a strike whenever he wanted to. A lot of fly-outs, but when he needed a crucial ground ball, he was able to get that double play. Just a great job of mixing pitches tonight. You got to just tip your hat to him. A good command of everything he throws, and obviously Russell Martin called a good game.
Obviously.
Look at that. Just 1 walk. Not a lot of strikeouts. 5. That's a good number. Just to get some key strikeouts when you want, but 5 strikeouts is enough to keep that pitch count down. Any more than that, then you're eating into that, and if you want to throw a complete game, you're not going to get it. Bullpen is playing catch.
Mark Melanson. This game would have to get, you'd think, well out of hand. in terms of the Cardinals coming back. Though Melanson appears to be Hurdle's first choice. Look out. That, Rob Drake, home plate umpire.
He didn't think that was going to get caught.
They're smiling.
He was running. A lot of little unusual things going on tonight.
Yep. Melanson could see him again if a runner or two get on base and that pitch count gets up where Clint Hurdle feels it's uncomfortable. So Melanson could use some work. Two and two on Oscar Taveras. Volquez starting his 172nd career game in the major leagues and looking for his second complete game. Edinson Volquez. Fly ball to right. Polanco searching for the wall. Makes the catch. One away. Brings up Peter Borges. His first at bat. Last time out for Edinson Volquez 5 days ago against the Phillies. He threw 106 pitches in 7 innings. Ground ball right side and through.
Well, regardless of what happens, whether it gets it or not, one of the good things tonight, get that bullpen some rest and get them set up for a big series in Cincinnati. They've had to do a lot of pitching the last couple of nights. Volquez basically giving them all the night off, and they'll be rested for when we get to Ohio. Gabby to hold on the runner.
There's Audrey Perez, the catcher who was called up today. That runner keeps a double play in order. A ground ball can get Volquez out of it. One ball, one strike. Do you think that might have something to do with why you keep the guy?
Partially. There's a right-hand hitter up there, so it's not totally unusual to hold somebody on with 8 or 9 to 1. But I think that a lot of that is he wants Volquez to have a chance of getting the last 2 outs without having to face any more hitters. If you play behind Burgess got great. Or Borges, excuse me, he'll go to second base. And now he's going to have to face at least 2 more hitters. And I think they're trying to avoid that if they can.
He said 110 pitches his high this season. Last year, 111 pitches was his high water mark. Two and two. Volquez also underwent Tommy John surgery in August of 2009. Three and two.
This next pitch.
Yeah, probably it for him. This is going to determine whether he stays.
Yep.
It's 112 pitches. It's the most he's thrown now in a couple years.
I'm not saying he has to get a double play ball, but if it's a walk or a base hit, you got to believe that Clown will say, okay, that's good.
Walked him. We'll see if Clint Hurdle doesn't come out.
Good poker face, huh?
Yeah.
He's not giving anything up. Looking out there at him.
I wonder if right now, Bob, is he kind of studying the body language, or is he?
I don't know. As I say, it's a great poker face. I'm not sure.
Checking to see if Melanson is ready. Nikitas Rojas telling him. And
gonna let him go.
Yeah, gonna let him go one more batter. Most pitches ever in his career. Edinson Volquez threw 127 pitches July 5th, 2012. As a member of the San Diego Padres against his former club, the Reds. Johnny Peralta. Could be a double play ball to end it. There's one, and raised to Jolly Roger, in a complete game for Edinson Volquez. The first for the Pirates this season, the second of his career, and the Buccos salvaged the finale, and all smiles.
Now look at that smile. He had the big hug for his catcher. He's a really kind of a happy-go-lucky guy, and likes to do a lot of jabbering in that dugout. Got to feel great for him. Came up big in a big ball game.
He goes the distance in a 9-1 drubbing of the Cardinals.